Awesome. Okay, welcome to the Diamond Dash Week 2 call on social media. Thank you for everyone who's jumping on live. If you're catching the recording, that's just as great. We know that with multiple time zones, bedtime, and I have kids screaming in the back too. Oh, because she's stuck in a drawer. I'm going to have to excuse myself for a second. We're good. My child was stuck in a drawer. It happens. See, you can work from all situations. We're really proud of you guys for everything that you've done this week. Week 1 was definitely a vulnerable week. You know, you had to share your story. You had to share your goals. You had to share your tracker for the first time. It was just a lot of vulnerability. And so we're really proud of you. If you haven't done everything, you know, go back and hit what you can. But definitely this week is set up so that there's an assignment for each day to help you. It's like a very sequential kind of assignment thing. And Marley's going to explain that. But we're trying to help you share on social media if that is not your strength. Or if it is your strength, you just get to have a fun challenge where you share certain things on certain days. But I will just get into my part of it all. Brenna, I hate when kids go in drawers. Okay. Just my. Okay, so tonight we're talking about social media. So we want to give you tips and tricks and kind of a better understanding of why social media is so important to your business. This is just us. I pulled these off of everyone's site without their permission. But you know, transformation, lifestyle stuff, fitness, that's kind of what we think of as Beachbody coaches. But we really just want to share us, right? We want people to get to know us and like us. And if people don't like you, just like Brenna talked before, that's okay, you know, bless and release them. But the people who are our tribe, we want to get to know them and we want them to know us and like us. So why is social media so important? So I just kind of came up with these 3 things that it's a way for many people to get to know you at once. So you're talking to a lot of babes in the invite process. So hey girl messages and follow-ups and building relationships. But this is a way that you can let them get to know you further in one central location, right? On your Facebook page or your Instagram stories or your Instagram feed. And you can show what's working for you. So I specifically did not say on here that you can show that the products work or that you can show that Beachbody is the best ever, or you can show all these things. I said show what is working for you, because the reason we are Beachbody coaches is because these products have worked for us. And all we're doing is recommending to our friends what has worked for us. Just like you would be like, this dry shampoo works so great, or this makeup is so good for me, or I love this recipe. You know, it doesn't have to go with the containers. You can just share a recipe that happens to fit in the containers, and that could start a conversation. But so all you're doing is showing what works for you, and then you can build credibility. Because, and I came up with this after, and so I don't have like a little yin and yang, but social media and inviting is the yin and the yang. You have to have each to fit the circle, right? Because if you are just posting on social media and you're not inviting behind the scenes, I promise you, you will not fill your challenge groups. If you are inviting behind the scenes but not posting on social media, I promise you, you'll have a hard time filling up your challenge groups. But that doesn't mean that you have to be a Beachbody billboard. That doesn't mean that you have to post the way other people post. You know, sometimes people are really all about selfies and all about, you know, lots of different types of social media posting. But you can do it in your own way, but you have to show up. And one of the trainings that Tasha Fitzgerald did, because I like to watch her team calls, she talked about how opening, like, your social media page is your storefront. So you have to open your storefront, you know, once a day or 6 days a week or something to show people that you're still there. You know, hey, I'm still doing this. I'm still, not that you're saying every single day, once a day, hey, I'm still a Beachbody coach, join me. Hey, I'm still a Beachbody coach. But you're saying, hey, I'm still here. I'm still showing up. I'm still super consistent, and I'm still failing forward. So on my picture here, it was a visual of what you're doing is you're sending a hey girl message. You know, you're finding these babes on Instagram and you're like, hey girl, oh my gosh, I love that dress, blah, 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 blah. And at the same time, they're on their phone looking at you being consistent. And obviously I am Brittany Leggett in this situation because that's the picture of Brittany Leggett. So it all comes together. So what we want, people have to like you, to trust you, to do business with you, says every successful coach ever. Somebody, I'm sure, said it for the first time, but I don't know which one, but I've heard it on 100 trainings. So people have to like you, to trust you, to do business with you. And so I want you to think about what you thought of your coach before you started coaching or before you joined a challenge group. You probably thought she was really, really cool. I thought my coach was just like the bee's knees. And then if you think about it, like, I don't know if anyone's, like, raise your hand if you've been to Summit and you went to Summit and the first time that you ran into or you saw one of the bigger coaches, you kind of are like, oh my God, it's a celebrity. And you're like, eking out at like a totally normal person. But the reason you like that top coach, I don't want to keep saying girl because there's many of fabulous top male coaches, but the reason you like her, I'll say her for me, is because you connect with her, probably not because she has awesome results from Core de Force or awesome results from 80 Day Obsession. You probably like her because she talks like you do on her Instagram stories, or she makes jokes that you would make, or I just recently actually discovered Ashley Molset, and I think she's like freaking hilarious at the stuff that she says in the little commentary, and it's something that I would say to my friend. So being you on your social media unapologetically, if you're someone who swears, swear on your social media because that will connect with people. If you're someone who doesn't, don't. But like that, you're going to connect your tribe to exactly who you are, and people are going to think you're funny for exactly who you are. And they have to like you, and then they're going to trust you because what you're going to do is you're going to just share your life. And then they'll want to do business with you because then what they'll think is, oh my gosh, that babe is just like me. She struggles like me, or she has successes like me, or she has wins like me. So they have to like you, to trust you, to do business with you. So when you think, oh my gosh, I don't want to share this, this is so silly, think, I'm somebody's Ashley Molset, or I'm somebody's Brittany Leggett. And somebody thinks I'm really cool for just being me because I'm just me and I connect with them. Just like your best friend loves you when you're in your PJs, they love you for you. So that's like what you're following your tribe. They'll end up loving you for you when you're dressed up and when you're whatever. And when you're like, I did an Instagram story today and I was like on my couch, unshowered and disgusting. And people watched it. I mean, people aren't unfollowing me from it. So, and then so a lot of what we're going to talk about this week is sharing your story. And sharing your story is just sharing you. Your bits, every little bits and pieces of you. And then Brenna's going to go more into that, but I just put some things up like about me. So, you talk about fitness and family, your dreams and aspirations and products you like, which is like, I really am not a big makeup-y person, but I do talk about dry shampoo a lot because I don't have time to shower. But basically what you have to think of is, does this inform, entertain, or inspire? So that's like a great thing when I say you have to open your storefront every day. You have to post something on social media every day. I don't mean that like, oh, just throw something up there. Truly think, does this inform about something that you're doing that's working? Does that entertain? Is it a funny poop story from your kids? Is it a funny, whatever story, like funny moment where you fell that is just going to entertain, or does it inspire someone to take action? You do want to have purpose when you're posting. So share all of you sprinkled in with Beachbody. having that Beachbody weaved in, but Curiosity Posting has set it up in a great way that we don't ever even have to say the product names besides when we super want to or when we're super selective. So share all of your life sprinkled in with some Beachbody. And then my biggest thing is connect emotionally and your relationships will stick. So when you're posting, add emotion to it. And that doesn't have to be like you're always in this place of despair and you're connecting emotionally like that. But share the wins, share the highs, share the lows, because I promise you that they will connect their story to your story. And your loss, like I always use loss as an example. You know, somebody has a loss in their life, it affects them, and you talk about it. That just happens to be my story. I lost my mom. That doesn't mean that people I connect with only lost their mom, but they've had a loss. And what happens is that their loss connects to my loss. And then when they're ready to make a health and fitness change, they think of me because I've connected our hearts together some way. So my tips for just general social media and sharing your story is if you are struggling with that, focus your PD on sharing your story. So I said this in my live training this week, but if this is something that you are like, oh my gosh, man, I am struggling, that's okay, because there are so many personal development things that you can do to help arm you and charge you to do better at this. So tonight, go on YouTube, go in Beachbody Champions, and find, like, straight up search social media training Beachbody or your favorite coach and social media. Brigitte has them. You know, Brigitte has, you know, one-on-one. I suggest trying to have one in the last 2017 or 2018, just because social media has changed so much. But still, you're gonna get great nuggets from anything that you watch. Save those YouTubes on your phone, and then when it's time for you to do your personal development, when you're washing the dishes, I listen to personal development when I shower. I put my phone up and I shower, and then I do it while I get ready in the morning. So to me, I call it arming myself for the day. So focus your PD on sharing your story and find things that will help you, that will strengthen it, because we have to be learners, right? And then plan out your week. So, oh my goodness, we have a challenge for that. So put a pin in it. We'll get back to it. But when you're on your own, you want to plan out your week roughly. That doesn't mean that I have all the words and all the pictures for every single one of my posts when I sit down on a Sunday, but it means that I have a general flow of how I want my week to look like. I know what I want to hit, and I know if I'm talking more about a challenge group or more about coaching. And that depends on what is coming up for you. Do you have a sneak peek coming up, or do you have a challenge group about to start? So be intentional, plan it out, and then like what I'll do is I'll be like, okay, I know I want to do an income post on Thursday. Income posts for me look very casual. Like I don't really drop numbers very frequently, but I do try to do income posts as much as I can. And what I do is if I set the intention that Thursday I'm doing an income post, the inspiration will come to me throughout the week. I will have a moment where I think, oh my gosh, I am so blessed because I just got that check, or because I have this money in that account, and then that inspires my post. But you have to have intention. You can't just run this business at a whim, or you'll just run in place. Then when you post kind of your posts that are, whether you're intentionally doing a call to action or you're just kind of like, you're doing a post but you're not really saying, hey, join me, those are super important. People who are liking them or seem to be following those stories, I reach out to them. That doesn't mean that you liked my income post and I message you and say, hey, do you want to do coaching? But what I do is I put myself in front of them and like, hey, you just read my post, you liked it or you loved it or you commented on it. And then I'm like, hey girl, how are you? And I make myself available for a possible conversation. If they like it and love it or comment on it and we have been talking, then I go for a invite. But sometimes it can direct you to who is watching you. Another tip I have is to follow only 3 coaches who tell their stories well and that you connect to. So I say only 3. That doesn't really mean like if you have a Success Club partner or like your upline. But you do not want your newsfeed to be saturated with Beachbody coaches. You need to spend your time loving on other babes. But it's okay to pull inspiration from coaches who are doing it, who are rocking it. Don't copy and paste every single word that they say, but take what they have, tweak it to sound like you until you get a flow. But my warning with that is that the second you start looking at that coach with comparison or competition, you need to unfollow them, because competition and comparison will kill your business. Your journey is your journey. Your coaching journey is your coaching journey. You cannot compare it to anybody else's, even if you guys signed up on the exact same day and you have the exact same amount of children. It doesn't matter. Everybody is so different. So, and I follow, personally, I'll tell you who I follow. I follow Brittany Leggett, Keisha Fitzgerald, and I kind of bounce back and forth between like Lindsay Matway and Bonnie Engel, but I unfollow them pretty frequently if I feel like I'm just watching them too much. But I really enjoy Keisha Fitzgerald and Brittany Leggett, personally. My other tip is to get vulnerable. I feel I probably am the vulnerability queen. I'm giving myself that title, so I don't know if that's appropriate, but I get vulnerable as much as I can, because coaching has healed me in so many ways, so I kind of have to talk about the pain to talk about my progress. But I always keep it upbeat with it's okay at the end and hi baby. But those pain points really is how I've built some really great connections with people. And then if you're struggling with sharing your story, write it out. It can just be bullet points. These are things I struggled with. These are things I felt. And share it in different ways. A lot of comments that we saw this first week are like, well, I don't want to tell that again. I just told that story. Or, I don't know what to say. I don't want people to get bored of me. But if you're adding people to your network every single day, and you're telling the story a little bit different, you can recycle the exact same idea, but you're telling the story just a little bit different, or you're using a different picture, or you're saving, you're using an old picture with new words, you don't have to recreate the wheel every single time. If you follow a top coach long enough, I promise you will see a pattern that the same thing is told. And that's okay, because your people will hear it when they are ready to hear it. If they're not ready to hear it, they're not going to hear it anyways, so don't think you're bothering them. And then, maybe put it by your desk. And then if you're planning out your week, okay, when I talked about my insecurities or my previous insecurities with this, or my current insecurities with this, I got a lot of traction on that post. I'm going to talk about it again on Wednesday. And then always my top tip is to share the freaking crazy. Your life is crazy. I think the crazier your life is, the better. And that doesn't mean that you have to have like crazy baggage like reality show. I just mean like you're busy doing stuff, you're busy moving, you're busy doing this. Sharing it and being honest with that journey is a great way to reduce rejections, honestly. I had a girl message me and was like, I'm just been so busy, sorry I didn't follow up. And then she literally wrote ... and then her next message was, not that you don't know, because you like live in a hotel. So and then she was like, I'll look at that link right now. So I mean, I'm not saying like put it in people's faces like I'm super busy, like get it together, but you just sharing it will have them come to the conclusion when they're ready that their health and fitness journey, or their hey guys, what's going on? Always their health and fitness journey and their desire to start a business is nothing that they should wait on, because life will never not be busy. And so I'm going to pass it over to Marley, who's going to talk about the sharing your journey and what this next week is going to look like. But if you have any questions for me, tag, message, whatever you need to do.
Hey, oh Sam, that was great. Loved it. Okay, so what she said is this next week is we are going to basically the whole 6 weeks, you're going to get out of your comfort zone really fast. And so this week you're going to have to post every day. It's going to be a share your story challenge. So what that means is that there is going to be a new post every day that you're going to be posting, and you're basically going to share your journey from the beginning to where you are and why you chose coaching. And then there will be an assignment, so you will have to take a screenshot of that and post it below. So when I say share your journey, that can mean so many different things to so many different people, but this is kind of what I have in mind when I say share your journey. So let me pull it up. Here we go. Let me go back to the very top. Okay, so on here, this next week, it's going to be a 5-day challenge, share your story. And so when you're doing this, I really want you to focus on 2 things. And so that's going to be branding yourself and your avatar. So it's going to, and part of what I'm saying is going to kind of bounce off of what Sam just said, because when she's talking about, finding those coaches that you sound similar to, that's exactly what branding yourself means. So branding means a couple of things. So whenever you find those top coaches, you see what they look like, how they speak, and how they act. All of those things are your personal brand. So these are a couple of my favorites that I actually like to follow. Holly Hillier, and she's one of my new favorites. She kind of came out of the woodwork last year and totally has crushed what it truly means to run as a business building person versus just bringing challengers in. So I follow her, and if you'll notice down here on the left, look at all of her pictures. The color schemes, the filters are the same. Now, I say this with love. Please don't take it the wrong way if you do it. I used to do it as well. When Instagram is a lot different than Facebook. So Facebook, you can get away with a lot more. There can be a lot of randoms. But on Instagram, your wall, that is basically a billboard. So think of it as something that you're paying tons of money for someone to put out there for the whole world to see. You don't want just a whole bunch of randoms on it. So really differ from Instagram itself, differs in the fact that your wall should not include your 15-minute snippets of your workout that you're putting in your story. If it does, do like Holly does. If you actually click on her 10-minute abs, the second one is a app that she uses to make a video in it. So you're not having, I love Insta stories because you can do so many great things with it, but you can also put what you're doing, which workout it is. You have all these things around it. So then when you try to put a video together, you have all of that in there too with your actual post. That's not as professional and it doesn't look as good. So if you're doing that, that may be something you want to rethink and maybe adjust your photos. Because if you will look at all these top coaches, not one of them has an Insta story snippet in their wall. So something else I want you to see as far as a personal brand is similar color schemes and the consistent filter. Find a filter that you love. Like I have blue eyes. All of my kids have blue eyes. I love pinks and purples and turquoises. Those are my favorite colors. So the second filter on Instagram, it starts with a C. Not even sure what the name of it is. That is what almost 90% of my filters are going to be, because that looks the best with me. So figure out what looks the best with you, your family, and where you're going to be and where you take your pictures most often, and be really be intentional about those things. Like if you'll look at Melanie Metro, she purposely painted her workout room turquoise because that is one of her favorite colors. So not that I'm telling you to go and repaint your whole house, but the laundry room where I work out, I intentionally got a $10 can of white paint, and that's my white wall. So if I ever need a white wall in my house for really good pictures, I choose that wall more often than not. You'll see most of my pictures that way. But I want a specific brand for my name and for myself. And so another thing that you need to watch out for is consistent photos and quote posting. So again, Holly Hillier, all of her lime green is on one side. If you'll look at Brittany Leggett, she has baby business, family. So figure out who you are and what your personal brand is and post about that the most. On Melanie's, where her quote is off, that probably never happens. I just happen to catch her and do the screenshot probably on a day that she's busy because she is out of town at a conference. But most of the time, all of her quotes are right down the middle. They're not actually off to the side. So really look at what you want to be super relatable to your post, and you want to be super, you want to connect and you want to share, but you also want to look like somebody who's in it for longevity and not just in it for the quick fix or for the quick fad. You want it to be somebody that when you pull it up, you're like, oh my gosh, I love that, or oh my gosh. And so really look at your consistency and stuff that sharing your crazy is the best part of it. I completely agree with Sam. But think about keeping that more in your Insta stories or on Facebook versus on your Instagram platform. And I'm only saying that for Instagram just because I know personally as a coach, that has really blown my business up, Instagram versus Facebook. So just a little tidbit on that. So when you're posting and when you actually have these amazing pictures, or when you're planning out your post, like Sam said, what I want you to do is think about your avatar. So what does that even mean? So your ideal coach or your ideal customer or your tribe is going to be your avatar. So how do you actually speak to your avatar? So speaking to your avatar, you have to do a couple of things. So, and that's what you're going to do this week. So think about who you were before Beachbody, like the real you, not the one who you think you were because you wish you were that person. Like if you really were the mom who never could get out of bed, like literally my second child, when my water broke at 7 a.m., I was still in bed because I could not get out of bed or be an early morning person at all, no matter how much I want to post about getting up early and being, super awesome about my early morning personal development, my early morning workouts. That's not who I used to be. And so I need to speak and share that journey of how I got to that person. Talk about the pain points. So I am super proud of everybody who did their video story. Some really got to their pain points, and then some, tough love, I'm only saying it because I really want you to be successful. Some of you only left it at surface level. You really have to meet people at their pain points, and I am proof of that. I saw the working out, I saw the eating healthy, I saw everything that I needed to do, but until my pain point was hit, I did not sign up. And it was over a year, literally over a year before I actually did anything about it. So make sure you hit people at the pain points. And if you're looking for your avatar, it's going to be the same pain points that you had as well. Okay, and then think about the excuses. So one of the excuses, and something we used to do a lot of, was like on Sundays or like on the weekends, me and my husband and the kids, we'd get in the car, we'd go to Dairy Queen, and we would just drive around and eat our ice cream. We've done that when we look at Christmas lights. We do it at all different times. Well, now that we're clean eating, that was something we really enjoyed as family time. So today I shared a post about eat the ice cream. It's Sunday. That's when we used to do it, in our previous life, and that was my excuse. Well, I don't want to give up this fun stuff with my family, but this is where, it's different ice cream this time. It's the special bond with your family doesn't have to change. It's just clean up the actual product that you're putting into your body. So all those excuses that people are going to go for, whatever excuses you had of not changing or, waiting so long to actually start, those are going to be your tribe's excuses too. And then think about the fears that you still have, because if we're really honest with ourselves, we still fear failing to some certain extent, no matter how long you've been in there. Especially if you're wanting to really attract business building coaches, really try to, make posts about fears you currently still have. Just because you're a Beachbody coach, you cannot portray yourself as this perfect person and you have it all together just magically, because all those people you're wanting to join you that need to aren't going to believe you and trust you, because they're like, girl, I saw you, I know you. Or, if you slip up and eat that fast food or do whatever and you get caught at the kids, concession stand at the ball game, you've got to be relatable, and you can't be perfect all the time, because nobody can live in that standard, one, and two, you're not going to relate to anybody. So talk about the fears you have now and the fears you have later. And the biggest thing about your avatar, and Holly Hillier will tell you this, she has an amazing video in the Beachbody Champions page about your avatar. So literally give your avatar an age. Is it a male, a female? Are they parents? And, are they married? Are they engaged? Are they single? Where do they live? Do they travel a lot? focus on that avatar, because when you're trying to speak to everybody, you're actually speaking to nobody. And so she used to run her business where I'll just take any warm body there is. I'll just take male, female, whatever. But that's not going to work for very long. So I know there's some awesome people who are actually doing it as doing Lift For as couples. I think that's amazing. If you're looking for couples, then keep that couple posting going. Now, like me, my husband works crazy long hours and does enough lifting with water heaters. He's not doing Lift For with me. So that would not be my avatar. Not that it's a bad avatar, but my avatar is the mom who uses the workouts to be less stressed because they stay home with their kids all day. Or, and it is a mom. And my avatar is around my age, 28 to 35, where they have been and lived in that toddler stage for so long, and their kids are finally kind of getting a little bit older, and they're feeling like they can actually take care of themselves a little bit more. They can kind of reel in that balance of life a little bit better. And, and it's not going to be the single mom. It's not going to be the college student. Those people, they're not my avatar. So if I try to meet their needs in my post, or if I try to, talk about those things, like especially when you're sharing your journey this week, if you try to think, oh, that's a great post, that'll get, such and such. If that's not your avatar, rethink your post and speak specifically to your avatar, because I promise you'll connect a lot better and to that person, and they will actually come into the business and want to grow it with you, first of all. So y'all have probably seen this, but this is going to kind of be the challenge. So day one, tomorrow, y'all can kind of figure out, your wheels can kind of be turning and who you were versus now. So I really want y'all to think about this, and I really want you to think about this picture. So this would be a great post to bring in the crazy, how was it before? How dysfunctional was it before? And, are you living in this hotel? Have you done this multiple times? And so how is it different now versus when you lived in a hotel previously? Or, how did you take care of your kids back to school when y'all ate crazy? And how did you figure out lunches back then versus how you do now? Whatever your avatar is, focus on that aspect of it. And day two is your fit and healthy lifestyle. Now, I will tell you, this is awesome to post about, that you really want to do curiosity marketing. And so curiosity marketing is where you do not share the name of it. A lot of y'all, I've friended y'all on Facebook, or y'all have me, y'all are totally rocking posting, but I've seen a lot of posts that actually specifically say Lift For, or show your picture of Lift For, like with the TV behind you or different things. That's not necessarily wrong, but what you're doing is you're putting in all this hard work for Beachbody.com to get your order. That's what you're doing. So it's not that what you're saying is wrong, or what you're necessarily, the actual workout is wrong. You're totally rocking your workout, but you're actually putting the name of it in there. So they're going to go to Google, they're going to go to Amazon, they're going to figure out how they can get it without having to pay you. So do your fit and healthy lifestyle without actually showing what the product is. And then day three is going to be the business and coach lifestyle. So in this, we are franchises, and so you have to be able to show the business, and you have to be able to show when you work. So if you work in pockets of time, or if you actually work like I do better for like a couple of hour periods, and pockets of time used to work for me, but I feel like I multitask too much, and I have learned I'm not a good multitasker, because I get about half of everything that I'm multitasking done versus actually completed tasks. So, talk about that. Talk about when you actually are able to do what you're supposed to be doing. And, this also would be an amazing opportunity to share a little bit about this diamond group, share about how you are able to be in a mentor group that is going to grow your business. And there are so many amazing things headed for your future. You are just so excited. Pump those people up. Let them know that you are doing what it takes to grow and be, aspire to your dreams in this business, because what they're doing is they're watching your journeys, and this is part of your journey. And the day 5 is why you coach. So it can't be a financial, I mean, I guess it could be a financial reason, but a lot of people, or the people you want to join in, aren't going to really connect with that unless it has a super deep meaning. But really try to get to the core of why you coach, why you chose to coach. And a lot of those would be the reasons that you gave in those videos. If you went past the surface level, that would be, some of those reasons there. So, but most importantly, when you're doing this journey, please, I do not want to see any posts that are salesy. You want to share like you care. You do not want to sell, because if depending on how you word it, and depending on what you're actually saying, and depending on how your pictures are, people are going to know when you're selling, and then they're going to know when you're actually sharing your journey with love and with just respect out of the journey itself. So I'm super excited to see what all y'all come up with. And, I did, and my Instagram isn't perfect. Please don't think that I'm saying that. I learn as I go every day, and I fell forward. But if you need to do like an Instagram cleanup, I had to do that a couple of, like before summer also. And, there's no shame in that. There is no shame in that. And the cool thing is if you have some photos that you need to adjust the filters on and do different things, do that, and then post the hashtags, and they will come right back up and be seen by new people. So you're sharing your story again by updating your Instagram too. And one thing about hashtags, I did want to say, when you're sharing your story, think of that in your hashtags too. So I see a lot of coaches share what that story, what the picture is, lifting heavy, strong muscles, dreaming big, working from home, like things that the actual picture, that is happening in the picture. So a few of those tags are great, because it's kind of, telling the story without telling the story. But also think about, if you are the mom who needed the workout, if you are the military person who traveled all the time and needed to be able to work out at home, if you are the teacher who is so stressed out and has so much anxiety about starting the school year, you're not going to be looking at Dream Big or, lifting heavy. You're going to be looking at other things, and things to start school back. Toddler, if you have baby weight, you're probably not going to be looking at your hashtags on baby weight. You're going to be looking at newborn pictures, toddler recipes, toddler clothing styles. So think about what your avatar is going to be posting about and be looking for. So tag those in your Instagram versus what the actual picture is too, because that goes back to actually sharing your story to the people who need it versus just trying to sell. Does that kind of make sense? So anyways, I know you are going to do totally rock this week, and I can't wait to see it all. So we have some amazing apps, and Brenna is going to tell us all about that, because I'm telling you, there are some apps that really make life easy. So we want y'all's life to be easy too. Okay, let me stop the share. Doesn't. Now I'm drawing. How do I make it?
It's like a little button at the very bottom in red, and you just, not the bottom of your screen, the bottom of like the gallery thing.
Well, what's weird is I don't actually have a mouse. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Awesome.
Yay.
Marley, thank you so much. I legit was taking notes, and I feel like now I need to redo my entire Instagram after watching your training. Okay, well, about that. In the best way, It just gets your wheels turning, and that's what this whole point of this training was, and to get you thinking and really, get us looking into like, okay, what are we doing every day? Are we planning? And we're going to go into that way more in depth in the future. So I hope you guys are excited about that. But this week, if you do nothing else, I challenge you to show up on your page and really take this challenge and really do the best that you can throughout these challenges every single day, showing up, doing the challenge. And also, we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but also thinking about when you're talking about your avatar, what Marley was saying, thinking about when your avatar would be on social media. So I just want to say this real quick before we go into this next part about the apps, is that that's something that actually can be really crucial. So if you're someone who is a mom, I'm just going to use my example, my posts are going to go up, you know, more like the time frame, maybe before the kids are at school or before I'm starting my day, maybe during like a nap time period, lunch time period, when maybe they're sitting in their chair. When's your person going to be looking at their phone? After the kids are asleep and it's 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, oh my God, what a long day, and I'm scrolling through. That is when I'm going to be looking at those pages. So trying to be mindful of the fact that if you're sharing a post at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thursday, and your avatar is a full-time working person, they're typically not going to be on their social media at 3 o'clock on a Thursday. So just being aware, and when you're talking about this avatar and you really are like thinking about what that is, also include that as a part of what you're making a point to be conscious of, because that's something that can really affect someone actually getting to see your page, and also them even just, you know, seeing you constantly. You want them to remember your face, like Sam was saying. You want them to think of you, connect with you. And the only way they're going to do that is by that consistency of what they're talking about, showing up every day, but also having it even go in front of them. So just add that to your list of things that you're going to kind of think about and add into throughout this week. You know, planning that out a little bit and maybe playing with the time frames. So back when I was single and before I had a daughter, probably the best time for me to post would have been at like 10 o'clock at night. Because I would guarantee that my girl is sitting on her phone at 10 o'clock at night during the middle of the week because she doesn't go to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning. And on the weekends, I'm not going to post at 6 a.m. because I didn't get up till 12 o'clock in the afternoon, right? So just having that that awareness of what you're looking for. So add that on your list if you haven't already about something when you're thinking about posting. So I'm going to share my screen real quick as well. Okay, so I'm going to move you guys as well. Perfect. Okay. So, why does it hate me? Hold on, guys. Sorry. Okay, redo. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the favorite apps that are going to make your social media pop, make it fire. Like kind of what Marley was talking about. In a lot of ways, you know, this is your storefront. This is what people are going to see. But sometimes you're kind of like, okay, I get it. Cool. I need to add some fun filters or put some cute text on there or whatever. How do I even do that? Like, where do I even start with that? So these, Sam and Marley and I were chatting. We came up with some of our favorite social media apps to edit your pictures, edit your videos, or just to add a little bit of oomph. Give them that extra next level look that makes them look really professional, and also does what you want. So a lot of the stuff I'm talking about, I share on Instagram and Facebook, both of mine. So I use these apps throughout both, so you definitely can. But I'm also going to say typically I'm going to create my posts in Instagram first because like Marley, I have my certain filters that I really enjoy in the Instagram, which you can do super easy and super quick outside of any of these extra apps. If you're not someone who's social media savvy or is kind of overwhelmed by that in general, you can take a picture in Instagram and edit it right in Instagram and you're good to go. Also, another tip that a lot of my girls, I just realized I wasn't telling them that they should know is that in regards to making a video, so you have your 15-second hands-free. If you're comfortable with Instagram, you know what I'm talking about. If you hold down the hands-free button, it'll count to 3 and then it'll do a video. So just a hot tip, if you're someone who's trying to do a workout video and you don't have a clicker, or someone who, like me, I have dance parties a lot, so I'll set my hands-free mode and I'll step back so you can genuinely see me interacting with the camera without having it to be my arm or an up-down view. Things like that. If you're making your shake and you want to have a dance party while you're doing that, they can see your shake without you having to be like, I'm drinking my shake and holding it next to your face. So just a couple little things that you can do while you're kind of trying to play around with social media this week that today I actually was, telling one of my girls about that when I was watching her stories because she would, set it down and push play and then run over and start working out. And it's, again, just taking that professionalism up to the next level. And that's what we want. We want you guys to feel successful and like you're really where you want to be with your social media. So let's dive right into some of the apps. I'm going to explain. I wanted to get these to where you could see them and take a picture of the actual frame if you wanted, because I know, like Marley and I were talking about a while ago, Jatana Jackson does an amazing training on Instagram stories. But when she was talking, she's reeling off all these apps and you're like, excuse me, wait, pause, go back, like repeat it. I need the name because I need to go download it right now, whatever. So I tried to type them all out so you guys could see them and then go back later and kind of really play around with them. I'm going to say I don't use all of these apps. And I don't think Sam or Marley uses all of these apps either. But at different times in my business, I have used 95% of these apps. But some of them I like more, some of them I like less. And I think that depends on the type of person you are, but also the type of social media you enjoy. So I wanted to put them all on here. And then guys, go play around with them. Like have some fun, test them out, and enjoy. Some of these are free. Some of them you have to pay for. So I'll also specify that a little bit. So the top row is PicCollage, Layout, PicJoiner, and PhotoFi. So these are typically ones that are going to be more like if you see like a transformation picture, side by side, of a weight loss transformation, or somebody's faces next to each other. These are great apps if you want to do that because they have a grid option. So you can pick your photo and it slides right into the right size. It also has a freelance option. So I did that a lot when I first started coaching. I had like these random pictures at angles with all the colorful background, and which is really fun. But I look back at a lot of those posts and I think it's very busy. It's very confusing, and not as eye-catching as maybe just something with great lighting or something that's just like just my face without all these little things everywhere. So just being conscious when you're playing around with apps that sometimes less is more. So if you are doing a transformation picture, which I like to do when I do my call to actions, because I've had a really big weight loss transformation, I like to use those because it's a very in-your-face obvious. Even if you're not reading my post, you can see the difference between the 60 pounds, right? So I like to have those. I use the PicCollage one the most because for me it's super easy and you literally pop in your photos, save it. I used to do all these colors and minimize it and try to do, I literally do side by side with a white background and let those photos speak for themselves. Then I'm going to take that transformation picture and I'm going to put it in another app to make sure that the color is what I want, to make sure that the filter is what I want. So what that means is you can upload it into your Instagram and then use one of their filters, or I'm going to talk about some of these other apps that you can use to enhance your photos outside of Instagram. So PicCollage, Layout, PicJoiner, and PhotoFi are great for sharing side-by-side photos. It doesn't have to be a transformation, whatever you want. And also some of them you can add little text on there. So I used to do PhotoFi and I used to put the dates of like, okay, this is January 2014 and this is January 2017. So you could see that this was a journey. This didn't happen overnight. I didn't lose 60 pounds in a week. You know what I mean? But also I wanted to give people a time frame. Let's say you're doing the Lift 4 program and you see awesome results. It's kind of cool to say, I did this in 4 weeks, and being able to put that on the actual photo rather than sometimes in the text. Because, especially on Instagram, it's all about the picture. A lot of times people, if they like your picture, will then read your caption. Otherwise, if they don't like your picture, they're just going to continue scrolling. So keeping that in mind, keeping these pictures really popping. And that kind of leads us into our second one. So these are all apps that are great for enhancing those photos that you're already trying to take. So like Marley was saying, she has a white wall, or like Melanie Mitchell has a blue wall. And those are great accent pieces for taking awesome photos. And then you can take that really pretty background. So let's say, you go and you take your workout selfie in front of this white wall. And for me, I don't have the best, I have good lighting in my house in very specific areas, but they aren't necessarily near a great wall. So it's the great wall or it's the good lighting. They're not in the same vicinity. So for me, if I'm going to take a good, if I want that clear background, that really pretty, if I'm going to run an ad or whatever, I'm then going to take it on the darker wall, and then I'm going to go into one of these apps and I'm going to upload it. So Snapseed, VSCO or Visco is a paid app, in case you guys were wondering. So that one you do have to pay. I think it's like $1.99. But the main difference between all of these is just the types of filter options and the things you're going to get. So I have used every single one of these. Lightroom, I actually use a lot. It's a free app. And you can literally just change the exposure, which is going to brighten up your photos. So if you already have great colors, you're wearing colorful sports bras, you're already, trying to just bring out your blue eyes or your dark hair or whatever it is, it's just going to lighten your picture. It's going to give you that brightness that's more eye-catching. You can also change like the color, so of the temperature of the room, or the picture. So make it a little more I like it because it makes me look more tan, which I can always appreciate. It also has great things where it'll add saturation to the picture. So it's going to make your colors more saturated or contrasting, pop more, which is always great, especially if you have like a really intense workout selfie. I found that my abs always look better when I contrast the picture a little more. I'm not actually changing anything about the photo or what I look like. I'm just making certain things pop. So that way, when it's going through your feed, you're going to be more likely to stop and hear what I have to say. So in regards to the VSCO, I think that's how you say it. The reason why this is a paid app and probably one of the most used apps on the market is because of the fact that when you put your photo in, there is like 1,000 different filters, and they group them by colors. So like there's 4 or 5 filters that are all within the same color scheme that all vary on the gradient. So they're going to bring out blues here, but one might be a little darker blue and one's a little softer, and all of those things in the same hue. So if you're someone who's like Marley says, I really like this one filter because I feel like it really brings out this color, or, you know, my eyes or whatever, it gives you the ability to do that with 4 or 5 filters that are all within the same range that slightly differ, which is kind of an awesome ability because let's say, you know, my kitchen lighting is different than my living room lighting, and my office lighting is definitely different than, you know, my upstairs bedroom or things like that. So it gives you the ability to have those same filters that have that similar look on your storefront, but without having to try to make that up yourself. So that's a really great one as well. And again, guys, none of these are like photoshopping your body or anything like that. I'm not talking about that. I know some people probably do that. I'm not that cool to even act like I'm going to do that. But just showing yourself in the best light, in the best way to where people are going to be pumped about getting to see what you have. The third one is word swag. So I love motivational quotes. So I am a quote junkie kind of. Like if you go on my page, they are not organized in any way. So I'm going to start off by saying that. So don't go to my page and think that it's going to be organized, because it's not, which is kind of also part of my page, is the fact that I'm not organized. But you can create really cool custom quotes, but in the same branding. So for me, I do all of my quotes, whether I came up with it myself or whether I found it on Pinterest, rather than saving the Pinterest photo that maybe has someone else's tag in it, or maybe is kind of blurry, or has a pink background, a green background, a purple background, whatever. I take that quote, I go into WordSwag, I type up the quote and pick, you know, one of the 3 fonts that I love and always put it on a white background. And then I'm going to share that quote on my page because it goes with my theme and my colors and what I enjoy. If you're somebody who loves, you know, blue or pink or like that lime green on Holly Hillier's page, I guarantee you she's writing that stuff out in an app and then posting it. She's creating that so that way she has that professional look. It's all the same. You know, when you're looking at that, you're looking at her 10-minute ab video. For me, when you see a white and black post, that's a quote that I love, or an inspirational post in some way, shape, or form. So WordSwag is so great for that. You can also upload your own photos and put quotes or things on there. It also gives you some really cool quotes. There's this, like, I guess I'm going to call it a cheat. It's not a cheat, but they have all these really famous quotes that maybe you wouldn't necessarily come up with on your own or think about, but when you click on it, it'll be like, you know, stay hungry. And then you click on it and it's like, show up today or be sorry tomorrow, or something really, you know, intense and fun. So it also gives you a really great way to, if you're into that kind of stuff, to share that without being like the Pinterest junkie who's copying and pasting constantly. So I love WordSwag, huge fan, use it probably a couple times a week. So these are going to be our secondary. So Canva, for those of you that are not Marley or Sam, who are like me, who are not graphic junkies, who are not good at creating really pretty slides or cover photos or Facebook posts, Canva is your saving grace and you should use it regularly. So it basically simplifies this entire thing that I created right now, guys, all Canva. Yeah, just saying. I created this. I was really proud of myself. So this is on your phone and it can be on your computer. So it's really nice because you have the ability to save projects on your computer and have it go to your phone and vice versa. But what's really cool about this, I use Canva a lot for recognition for shout outs, for announcements. I'm pretty sure, Marley, the stuff for this group was on Canva, right? You created on Canva? Yeah. And I know Sam uses it as well for a lot of her posts too. Because it simplifies all of that. So you can go in and click, I want a Facebook post size. I want an Instagram size picture. And it'll even give you free backgrounds that you can choose from. And then you just edit it and make it your own, which I love. It gives you text options. It gives you fun backgrounds. If you are really into graphics and all of those things, you can take the simple choices like I do, and you can step it up another level like my sister. You know, you are able to really find those things and make them unique, but in a very simple, systematic way that's not requiring you to like create this whole thing out of thin air, guys. Because we know that there's not a ton of time. You're sending out invites. You're doing all these things. How are you going to make your page look professional without breaking your back trying to do it? And these are some great ways to do that. So Canva, definitely recommend if you don't have it. PicMonkey, I forgot to put that on here. That is another one. They have like a free trial that you can do for a while, and then you have to pay for it. PicMonkey for me was not as easy, but I know people who love it. So those might be two great options that you're going to want to try and see which one like your jam, which one you like. The next one, Viva Video, Video Shop, and Cut Story. So for those of you that are doing Instagram stories, you know that you can only share a story in a 15-second clip. So these apps are really awesome because you can speed up your videos, so you can put more content in a shorter period of time. Also great for workout videos. If you go to Sam's IG story, she does this a lot, and I'm always jealous of it and ask her what app that's from every time, and I always forget it, and you know, whatever. But she does this so great and is able to share, you know, a huge chunk of her workout in 15 seconds. Video Shop and Cut Story are great because what they do is they can take, let's say you recorded a video of your kids at the zoo, and they're able to cut it into 15-second clips, so you can upload it without having these where you have to stop and restart your video again and make sure you're using the same word you just ended on and that whole shebang. Instead, you can make a whole video and cut it so it'll fit, no problem. And then Video Shop is the opposite. It basically takes the 15-minute or 15-second clips and is able to extend them into a longer video, which is great if you're going to share it on Facebook or maybe in a team call page or something like that. And then this one's my favorite, Hype Type. I use this regularly. So I'm somebody, when I work out, I don't watch much TV anymore. So when I'm working out, I watch my reality TV shows. That's just a very honest moment there. I don't know if I've shared that on my social media, but I guess I probably should. But so I like to watch really bad reality TV. So if you actually heard what was happening in my videos while I was working out, you'd be like, is that Teen Mom in the background? Or, you know, Real Housewives or whatever I'm watching at the time. And probably isn't the most motivating or fun to watch, you know, in general. So Hype Type is awesome because you can go in and you can add text to your video. You can add music, and it gives you an entire selection of songs to choose from. And then on top of it, you can also use different text that'll fade in, fade out. You can blur your video to where your words are showing first, and then fade out into your video. You can also speed up your video or slow it down, all in this one app. A side note with Hype Type is you do have to add text in order to share it. I've never been able to not do that. And if someone knows how to do that, you should probably tell me. But so if you're someone who's struggling with that, because for me, you know, sometimes I just want to share my workout. I don't always want to have to write something on every single clip. So if you do a period and then you hide the dot somewhere in the video, like I have a white pillow in the background, so I do a white period and then I put it on the pillow. Great way for you to be able to not have text and add music to your videos. So that's a great option. And you can't hear what's happening in the background. So if you're working out and all of a sudden your husband comes in and he starts talking about, you know, the dogs or something crazy, and you're like, I'm making a video, like, what are you doing? You know, add music, cuts them out, you're good to go. And then the last one, this isn't something that is going to amp up your social media, but after talking to the girls and we're talking about Instagram and we're talking to you guys about how you're creating lists, we wanted to share these with you because I think they're super important. So if you're using your list from Facebook, you're likely downloaded your Facebook friends list and went off of that. Instagram does not have that ability to do that. So these apps can help you kind of move through your list, know who's on your list, and then kind of change your list as you go. So I use currently followers, and basically the great part about this app is it downloads everybody who follows you on Instagram. You can see all of your followers by name and their Instagram names. Excuse me. You can also see, like you can clean it out and you can see all your new followers. So let's say you write down your entire followers list. And once a week then I go in and I go to my new followers section and write down all of those people. So this way, when you're adding people every day, you don't have to be adding someone, writing their name down, adding someone, writing their name down. When I say add, I'm sorry, follow someone, write their name down. You don't have to do that. You can go through and follow your people and use your pocket of time very strategically, and then go into followers after and rewrite down all the names. It also gives you the ability to unfollow people who are not following you. So obviously, when we're talking about sharing on social media, getting our stuff in front of people, people are not following us. They're not seeing our content. So likely they're not our tribe. So if you go in and you follow someone and they don't end up following you back for whatever reason, then they're probably not going to be on your list because they're not somebody that you're seeing, you're making contact with. They're not seeing all of your awesome stuff, whether it's, your bump shake in your stories or whatever. So the followers app and the cleaners app is what Marley uses a lot. And that gives you the ability to unfollow lots of people without having to personally do it yourself. It gives you that ability to remove those people from your list and then continue to build. So I definitely recommend having at least one of these apps on your phone if you're using Instagram as your main source. I think there's a couple others, and I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't come up with the names. I've heard of a couple others, but these are the ones that we personally use and have been using, and I was able to really talk about because I use it literally every single week. You also are able to see like the people who delete your comments or block you if you want to pay for that. For me, I'm like, if you blocked me or deleted my comments, I don't care. So, so that's your choice. If you want to know that, I was, ignorance in that sense is a little bit bliss to me. So we've been talking this entire day about entire day. It feels like a long day. I'm sorry. This entire call about social media. And we've been really talking with you guys about how you're going to share, what we're going to challenge you to share, what's important to share, ways that's going to make you stand out and be different. So like Sam said, we don't want you to be a Beachbody billboard, a Beachbody robot. Here's my shake. Here's my energize. Here's my workout. Because honestly, people get tired of it. People want to know you. And is all you do 24 hours a day Beachbody? No. Probably a chunk of time is Beachbody or coaching or your 30-minute workout or whatever. So when you're sharing and throughout this week, just because you're in a Diamond Dash Beachbody challenge doesn't mean that every single post has to be a sweaty selfie, a shake, a whatever. You can take a picture with your kid and relate that back to your story and share a part of your story that has led you to Beachbody, that has led you to coaching without saying, that's why I'm a Beachbody coach. So we're going to challenge you to do that. We want you to share. We want you to be super, on the forefront of social media, but we also want you to be who you are and share that every single day. So we're going to give you assignments every day. We already shared with you the schedule, but tonight, I know it's getting late. We don't want to waste any more of your time, but we also want you to think about, as you're moving into this next 5-day challenge, what are some things that are unique about you? So there's 400,000 Beachbody coaches. That's a lot of people who have a Shakeology cup. That's a lot of people who do their workouts every day. But the difference is if you look at every single person on this call right now, every single one of us are completely unique and in our own ways. We have certain things that we love, that we hate, that we like to talk about, that are fun hobbies for us, that whether they relate to fitness or not. So for me, I wanted to give a couple of examples. Because we're going to ask you to tell us 5 things that make you unique that aren't about your shaker cup or about your workout. So some examples for that was for me is that I love to travel. So I'm able to relate the fact that when I go on trips, I always do a workout when I'm on a trip because I like to share the fact that I can work out anywhere while I'm on a beach. That's someone who's going to relate to me is about the fact that they love traveling too and they would love the convenience of this. The fact that I used to be an athlete. And that's something that has resonated with me, wanting to be on a team, wanting to have that camaraderie. I have that now as a coach, But that didn't start as a Beachbody coach. That started when I was previously into sports, when I was on a team, in a team environment. Being a work from home mom or a stay at home mom. So that's something that's super unique to me and my life. I wasn't always a stay at home mom. I was a full-time career person, but the stage of life I'm in right now would relate to somebody like that. And that makes me unique because my story is like, God, I'm going crazy in this house. I need to get out, which is totally different than somebody who's just wants to be at home and kick their feet up at the end of the day, right? Being a curvy female. So this is something I talk about a lot in my posts. You know, I always say like big booty girl problems, because that's something that makes me unique that I have learned to embrace over the years. That wasn't something that I always embraced in my life. And so I'm sure there's things happening in the chat. I can see people laughing, but I'm not reading it. So I will in a minute. But that is something that I've learned to embrace, and something I talk about on my social media is embracing being curvy, loving your body the way it is, and that you can work really hard and feel really good while you're in that process. And then being a terrible cook. That is so real. If you go on my IG stories, I will tell you every single day, I don't know how to cook. I used to only eat eggs and guacamole because that's all I could make. So someone who is really into baking, they're not going to come to my page to find out about baking. But if you want to come in and find out how to season all of your food with 5 seasonings that you don't have to create yourself, awesome, gonna love my page. If you want to know how you can make 10 meals in an Instant Pot in under 10 minutes, gonna love my page. Like, those are the types of things that make me unique, even though I'm a Beachbody coach just like every other person on this call. So those are just a couple of the things. I have more things that I talk about, like my obsession with makeup. Like, I spend way too much money on it. I do tutorials on it. I share the products I use like regularly, because for me, that's fun. That's something I love doing. And girls who love their eyebrows will come to my page, because we'll talk about eyebrows all day and it'll be amazing. So whatever those things are for you that make you unique outside of ever being a Beachbody coach, those are things that people are going to love about you and relate to you and cause them to trust you, because they feel like, girl, she told me about this product and she was right. It was amazing. So if she's being honest about that, she's probably honest about the fact that this 30-minute workout is going to kick my butt. Also, it's going to keep them coming back and wanting more from you, wanting to see what else you're going to share, what else you're going to talk about, what else they can relate to you on. So that is just a full circle. So tonight, before you go to bed, before you clock out of your work hours, I'm hoping you'll do it actually immediately after this call. The Zoom link that Marley posted is on. We want you to go on there tonight and comment 5 things that make you different, that you're going to somehow incorporate, share in your business, in this challenge, moving forward. That is going to be fun. It's going to be different. It's going to make you stand out. And I think that's probably, yeah? Okay. So that's your challenge. Oh God, hotel name. There's a whole bunch of funny things happening in the chat. I'm definitely going to read it. Was there any questions that I missed or anything like that? Or is it mostly like funny banter? Yeah? Okay, cool. So ladies, we don't want to take up too much of your time. We know this was a longer call, but obviously we wanted to really give you a full spectrum understanding of social media. Oh yeah, the pic. I'll unshare. We wanted to give you the real ins and outs of social media, and we also wanted to give you tangible ways to be successful this week. And so I hope that we did that. I hope that you're going to take some time this week when you're getting ready to share a post and you take a fun picture to put some fun effort into it, and to also get excited about figuring out what's the best for you and not take it as an overwhelming thing. I really want you guys to take this as a fun, new, exciting learning thing. And sharing can be scary, but it also is the way that people get to know you. So I hope you'll be super real like you were with us, even though I know that can be really hard. But that's what gets people in your tribe. So yeah, who's taking the picture? Am I taking the picture? Okay. I have it on gallery view, so I will.
I'm just going to stop recording.